minutes or so. In this exercise is basically we're starting with balls on one side. The coach will place itself in the middle to manage the exercise. As an instruction, will tell players that the objective of this exercise is basically for two players to attack and score a goal while one player is defending. The reason we're doing that is we don't want them to think that it's a passing exercise, because the first thing that they are going to do, if you say so, they will initiate the exercise by passing the ball to the other player. The objective of the exercise, however, is to develop the decision making both of the player with the ball and the supporting player on what to do when they're trying to score a goal and there is a defender that is trying to prevent to do so. What we want is the player with the ball to start dribbling the ball until he has to make a decision, and the decision will be dictated by what the defender does. Obviously, as soon as it goes towards this middle part, the 10 yards part, so this player has to decide whether it's going to challenge or stay or whatever it wants to do, or going this way, whatever it decide to do. So let's say these players have two options, the player in control of the ball. Option number one is to keep on dribbling, and then if at one point feels that the distance, the space over here is open, then what he should do is to speed up and finish himself for a shot on goal. However, if that path is blocked, then he has to realize that option is not on and has to look at the second best option, which is basically to pass the ball to his teammate so that now he or she can go and score a goal. That is basically the whole exercise and the decision making. Within this exercise, we're looking at all the technical aspect of things that will provide them an opportunity to be successful and score a goal. And in this case, that's what I want to talk about in this exercise. What are the things that we're looking for in terms of coaching? What are the breakdowns that are going to happen and why they're going to happen? So let's start from the beginning and see what happened. The first aspect that we have to look at is that, especially the younger age groups, this player over here will try to gravitate towards the player with the ball and get it into a position that it's not necessarily suitable for attacking. So this player will try to go, or both of them will try to go together, because especially at 8, they're not used to cooperate and they're afraid that the ball is not going to be passed. So what we want is to establish the first one of the first rules of attacking, which creating and maintaining width. So if the player with the ball stays as wide as possible, the supporting player stays as wide as possible. So that's one of the first rule. The second one will be again of where this player is supposed to be, the supporting player. A lot of times they will tend to go way ahead of it, and if this player is in advance, the actual possibility of passing the ball here and being intercepted becomes quite high. So we want to have the supporting player position level basically on the same line or behind, just a little bit with the ball and wide, so that now the pass from this player, we want him not to be to his feet but to be ahead of it, to the path of this player, so that now he runs to it and continue for the shot on goal. So it's important that for the coach to recognize and look at this position and make sure that this position is proper and not being ahead of the ball or not being in a supporting position in relation to the player with the ball. The other aspect of things is to the technical. So what we're looking for here, we're looking for obviously a very good pass with pace and accurate direction ahead of the player here. Now on this side here, we're looking for the player to run to the ball and receive the ball with the opposite foot or the farthest foot from where the ball came from. What happened in this case will be the left foot. What happened is that because of players, in this case if it's a right-footed player, will try to swingle around and control the ball with the right foot or the closest foot to the ball carrier, and that's a mistake. So we have to train them that to receive the ball with the opposite foot, and not only that, but with the first touch try to advance the ball in a way that it goes towards the goal. So in other words, or maybe even in a line with their position. The problematic is if they, most of the times they do it, the first touch is not, it's poor because maybe being the left foot or so forth, and they will touch it so the ball goes away from them. So in other words, they will lose the momentum to advance the ball, and they will allow these players to go and get in a defending position. Now on the finishing side, again, we can promote the player or encourage the player to use the left and looking for the far post, or maybe with the last foot, with the left foot in this case, if they're not comfortable, to set it up the shot with the right foot and again going towards the far post. But the most important part is that they set up themselves, approach the goalkeeper and make sure that they have the angle to finish with a good shot on goal. So to recap, we're looking at again the decision making of the ball carrier, whether to go by themselves, if the defender allows them, if there is a space, can they accelerate and finish it, or if the defender closes the space, can they use a teammate to try to advance the ball? So in this case, passing to the path of the teammates, and so that he or she can advance the ball. For the supporting players, what we want again is a player that gets stay as wide as possible with the players with the ball carrier, not closer to the ball carrier. When past the ball, to receive the ball with the opposite foot and advance it straight forward, so past the defender, and then prepare as they're running towards the goal for a shot on goal. So it's very simple things, and we have to work on the technique of passing and receiving and advancing the ball. There are different 2v1 games that can be done depending on the objective, but the technical and tactical aspect is still the same. So for instance, what we presented before was a 2v1 for a shot on goal. This one here, again, same size area, 20 by 15 or by 12. We have one player here, so you can have players as the defenders here, and you can rotate in groups if you like, so that the defending eventually becomes so we're going from this position to this position to this position and so forth, and to back over there. But the idea is still the same. Now in this case it's 2v1 to advance the ball, so they will score a goal for when one of these two players would dribble across the line here, across and behind the line, and stops the ball. So basically it's the objective is to advance the ball. We're also looking at dribbling, and get it behind space. This is the same game again, but it's doubled with two defenders. so that whereby here first they beat this defender, and this defender only can defend on the line, and they cannot go backwards or forwards for that matter. And then after beating this defender, they go to the second zone and they're trying to beat this other defender here as well. So you can set it up with players that will alternate as defenders every attack. That would be a good structural way to do it. Then rotate defenders with the attackers every 5 minutes or so. You can also create games of 2v1 for a shot on goal or across the line, and this will be games of 4 players. So for instance, you can set up, if you have the space, grids of 20 by 15 or by 12. So if you have 12 players, you can set up 3 grids here whereby you set up the game. So each team will have 2 players and they will take turns attacking and defending. So for instance, you can have one white team here taking 10 turns to attack, and then you can have the other team doing the same after that. So for instance, in this case, play will start always with 2 players on the cone, 1 player here, 1 player there, so they gotta start wide. The idea is to go and beat this opponent here, which is a defender from one team. The other defender, the other component of the team, when defending, stays on goal. So these 2 players, they will attack. So after each attack, right, they can go back and do the same again, or what they can do, they can switch roles. So they alternate attack, so this team will be in this way here. So in other words, these guys will attack and these players will be defending. So again, we'll switch the role that way. So it's an ongoing team. One team attack, one team defend. Which team can score 10 goals first or whatever. So they constantly have an opportunity for them to play the game and run the game back and forth as a realistic game and improve their skills in that way. You just need to make sure that the rules are clear to them, and then the game will run itself. Have a coach as well, assistant, help you out in different or even a parent for that matter, help you out in the different grids that you have. And again, you can run 3 grids at the same time, and the kids will love it. 15-20 minutes of this, it's a lot of fun games that they'll play. To also add interest to the game, you can say that if this player wins the ball, this player can go and score right away a goal here, or even better, what he can do, they can start an attack, but before they start attack, this player must pass the ball back to his teammate, and then they can start an attack again, reposition themselves and attack. That's more of an advanced things. I would suggest to do it afterwards, after they have got the idea of what's required. The ideal number for players for this game is 4, but you can have 6. You can have 3 on one side and 2 on the other side. Players can rotate. For instance, in here on the white team, they're defending. One is defending here. One is a goalkeeper. The other one is with the ball here, ready to go the next time it's their turn, so that one of these players basically will go and put themselves over here, and this other one after will go back over here for their turn. So there is ways to do it. The important part of this games is that you set up balls, enough balls on each side, either inside the goal. Actually, I would say probably to the sides, some balls on this side and some balls on the other side as well. So balls on both 4 corners of the field. Be that the players do know exactly what the rules are. Show them how it's done, and players will figure it out what is required by trying it out. Once in a while, you can, if you like, you can stop and then maybe if there is a mistake, make a coaching point. There is different variations of this game, and I will show you a couple more as we go along. This game here is the same setup, 15 by 20, and again the a team will be attacking, the other team will be defending. We'll set up one defender from one team on one line, and the other one will set up on the opposite side of the field, guarding the other line. So the attacking team will take 10 turns or 10 attacks, 5 one way or 5 the other way, and they will score by basically crossing the ball across the line here or here, whatever they might be. So as soon as they attack on this side here and they score a point, they will basically turn around and they will attack the opposite goal here now, and then they try to score a goal on this way here. And again, this is, you can do this by grids, separate grids, 3 grids, whatever they might be, depending on the players, and players can play this all the time. And again, keep in mind the technical aspect of this game, and so that the players again practice in a game environment the technical ability of the 2v1 situation. As players get proficient on the 2v1, we can introduce some combination play they can use to advance the ball and score goals. The first one will be the wall pass, and again, it depends on the situation and what the decision making will be in accordance to the defender. So for instance, in this case, if the defender will be this way here, this player can actually run towards them to support, and in this case they could create a wall pass in terms of going this way, this player dribbling over there and passing the ball, and create 2v1. If that's the case, another combination could be an overlap, whereby after passing the ball to a teammate, the ball carrier overlaps the teammate, the ball carrier attacks or dribbles at the defender, and then after committing him can pass the ball back and basically finishing with the shot on goal. Again, that's also some situation and some exercise you can do beforehand. Some of the exercise that we can do to improve our technical ability to advance the ball is 2v0. So we will set up players on both sides, and again, starting with the ball carrier passing the ball forward and to the supporting player, which receives again with the opposite foot and pass it forward to the other side, and so forth until the shot on goal. A variation would be for the ball carrier to dribble up to a point and then pass the ball to the opposite side, which receives the ball, dribble out to a point, and then pass the ball to the opposite side for a shot on goal. I would also suggest to have them start maybe 5 yards apart and passing and receiving, again, 1 touch, 2 touch ball, passing back and forth and receiving. So with one, after the pass, the player receiving the ball receives it with the opposite foot, sets it up, pushes it forward in a forward line this way here, and then pass it again to this other player, which receive with the opposite foot, little forward pass, touch, and then again back and forth. When they get to this point, they'll turn it back and go this other direction over here. Again, lots of repetition of that. Another exercise would be, again, putting cones in there, and again, players at a short distance to each other, and to pass the ball, first touch, clear the second cone, and then pass the ball in between. Again, the receiving player, first touch, clear the second cone, and pass the ball across, and so forth, and then finish with a shot on goal. Last progression would be a one-touch passing back and forth with the opposite foot. Again, that's to work on the opposite foot touch and receiving and passing the ball with the opposite foot.